All right, so today we're diving deep into something pretty cool, the brand new Airbus H140 helicopter.
Yeah.
You've probably seen some stuff float around about it since its big debut at the Verticon show down in Dallas. Well, we've been poring over the coverage from Aviation International News, and we're going to break it all down for you, like what this helicopter is all about and why it might actually matter to you.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting right off the bat why Airbus even decided to develop this H140.
Yeah.
They're pretty upfront that it's meant to kind of fill a gap, a gap that their customers were pointing out between the H135 and the H145.
Sure. Yeah, I'm familiar with the 135. It's a popular model.
Yeah, exactly.
But so some operators were feeling like it needed maybe a little more space, a little more oomph.
You got it, more cabin space, a bit more power.
Okay.
It's kind of like how the H130 and the H125 have that size difference?
Right.
It's like a natural progression in their lineup.
Okay, so this whole gap filler idea.
Yeah.
Who exactly are they picturing, stepping into this in-between aircraft?
It seems like they're really zeroing in on EMS.
Ah, emergency medical services.
Yeah, emergency medical services.
Okay.
They're saying this H140 is like the perfect fit for that whole world.
Interesting.
And the big selling point is the cabin space.
Okay.
It's a whole 20% bigger than the H135.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty sizable jump.
Yeah, it's significant.
Yeah.
And, EMS operators have been saying they need more room for patient care.
Right, of course. So that makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. So this directly addresses that.
20% increase. That's huge.
Yeah.
And there's something about the layout itself, too, right?
Absolutely.
Like the way the cabin's designed?
Yeah. The unobstructed space is key for EMS.
Okay.
No center posts, no door posts. It's just open.
Wow.
Over 215 cubic feet of usable area, not even counting the pilot station.
Okay.
And that open design is critical for medical teams.
Right.
They got to move fast. They need full access to the patient.
Absolutely. Every second counts. It's exactly time-sensitive situations.
Wow. So that open layout, I can see how that would be a game changer.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, in terms of classifying it, it falls under EASA CS27 and FAA FAR 27.
Yep.
Which puts it kind of at the higher end of the small rotorcraft category.
Right.
What's that mean for what it can actually do?
Okay, so its maximum takeoff weight is just shy of 6,900 pounds.
Okay.
Which is about 430 pounds more than the H125.
Right.
Think about what that extra weight lets you do more useful load.
Okay.
And just better performance overall.
Got it. So it can carry more and perform better in tougher situations.
Yeah, they're saying it can hit a top speed of 155 knots.
Wow.
And with that extra lift, it's going to handle challenging conditions a lot better.
More space, more power. Got it. Now, what about the tech?
All right, here's where it gets really cool.
Okay.
They've got a 5-blade rotor system on this thing.
5 blades?
Yeah, it's different from some of their other models in this size, but the main benefit is a way smoother ride.
Okay, so less vibration.
Way less.
Nice. Those airframe vibrations are basically gone, and that's huge for both passengers and crew.
Especially on those longer EMS flights.
Right. Especially those...
That makes a lot of sense.
Big difference.
Yeah. A smoother ride is always a good thing.
Absolutely.
Then I got to ask about this teal thing.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like some pretty clever engineering.
It really is.
So what's the deal with that?
So the teal, it's like a built-in design where the vertical stabilizer...
Right.
It's part of the tail boom structure itself.
Huh, interesting.
And the cool thing is it not only makes the helicopter perform better, especially how well it hovers, which is super important for EMS.
Got to get in and out of tight spots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it also shaves off 80 kilograms of weight.
Wow, that's amazing.
Just by combining those structural elements.
The less weight, better hovering.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. Big time, especially for demanding jobs like EMS.
Makes sense. Now, what about the engine? What's powering this thing?
They've gone with a brand new Safran ARS-2's engine.
Okay, a new engine. What are the big advantages there?
Efficiency.
Okay.
It's designed to give you about 7% more power.
Right.
Compared to the RS-2B2 Plus engine you see in some of their other models.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the kicker. It keeps the same fuel consumption at maximum continuous power.
So more power without guzzling more fuel. That's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, that's a big one for operators.
Absolutely. And up in the cockpit, it's sticking with the familiar Airbus layout, right?
Yeah, they've got their Helionix avionics suite in there.
Right. I've seen that in their other helicopters.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Okay.
Which is good for pilots who are already trained on Airbus platforms. Makes training and maintenance a lot smoother.
So streamlining the whole process.
Exactly.
All right. Now, when can we actually expect to see this H140 out in the field?
So they kicked off flight testing back in mid-2023.
Okay.
And from what we're hearing, it's behaving just like they expected.
Good.
They're working on the next prototype right now.
Okay.
And they're getting ready for the whole certification process.
Right.
The goal is to have it certified and ready to go by 2028.
Okay.
Then FAA validation and all the approvals for commercial air transport use should come through in 2029.
Okay, so it's a couple of years out, but it's on its way.
Yeah, it's moving along.
All right, so let's recap this H140. It's Airbus's answer to what their customers were asking for.
Right.
It slots in between the H135 and the H145, and it's looking like EMS is going to be a big market for it.
Yeah, definitely.
More cabin space, better performance. Those are the big draws.
Absolutely.
And then you've got some really cool tech in there, the 5-blade rotor for that smooth ride, and the teal for better hovering and less weight.
Yeah, it's a really innovative design.
So it's a very focused helicopter, packed with technology, ready to tackle some tough jobs.
Exactly. It's tailor-made for demanding environments like air medical transport.
But here's something to think about. Given all these advances, especially all that extra space and the way it can hover, how do you think this H140 might change things, not just for air medical transport, but maybe even open up some doors for other specialized helicopter operations?
It's interesting.
Stuff we haven't even thought of yet.
Yeah.
It seems like this unique combo of features could really shake things up down the line.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on.
All right, folks, that's our deep dive on the Airbus H140. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the links and resources. And until next time, happy flying.